to Wild Moos. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Amy.
And we are bringing you a real, raw and raucous podcast.
An unfiltered truth behind running a business and running a family.
Dive in.
Episode 8.
My favourite number.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is it about numbers? Like, I don't really know enough about it, but isn't 7 a good number as well?
I believe so, yeah. That was a good episode, number 7.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah. What are we calling this bad boy?
Well, I don't know, but it's about networking.
Yeah.
Which sounds a bit boring initially.
Networking, friend or foe.
Because the reason I think we should talk about this is because I'm not a massive fan of networking.
Yeah.
But you love it, don't you?
Oh, I don't know if I love it. I know and recognise the power of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm inquisitive, so I quite enjoy listening to other people. I tell you what it is. I enjoy seeing how people show up as their brand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From a marketing perspective?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I will be sat there. People are doing their 60-second pitch thinking, oh, why didn't you say this? Or that was a killer line. What about this? Or what about that? Like just having my own brainstorm in my own head about these businesses that I'll probably never touch or ever get to speak to.
Right.
And I find that it sparks a lot of creativity for me, I think, specifically.
Interesting.
Why don't you like it?
Because I don't feel like my people are there. It's a bit ignorant, first of all. Is ignorant the right word? Because when I first opened my Horsham salon, I remember this guy, he owns a jeweller's around the corner, he's been there forever. And he came in when we were opening, he said about joining like the Rotary Club or whatever it was. I can't remember what fucking...
It's not Rotary, you wouldn't be allowed, darling, you're a girl.
I think they've changed it, aren't they?
They do have female ones, yeah.
It was something.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Chambers of Commerce. That's the other one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was one of those. Mm-hmm. And he was like, you should really join this, blah, blah, blah. That's all I heard, blah, blah, blah. and he was like, he said to me, your business will not be successful if you don't integrate and become a member of one of these. And I looked at him and I said, I think you're wrong. Because actually the people that I need in my business, my clients, are not there with all you guys.
Yeah.
So... no, I don't think I need to, thanks. But also I don't live in the area. I don't want to be driving over just to go listen to other business people talk about their bin collection or whatever it is. Like, I'm not...
I feel like we're getting a lot of assumptions around networking, a lot of prejudice. Maybe we can tackle some of that.
Maybe, but the fact that I was told my business will not succeed, that pissed me off right away. And when I was in Farnham, I got asked to join loads of them, and I was just like, where are my clients? If, you know... First of all, do you go for business connections or do you go for new business? And I think that's where you need to figure out what you're using it for, right?
Yeah. And what the ROI is.
Yeah.
Because most networking groups, there is a cost. You get to try them for free, but there is a cost.
Yeah. So if I lived in that area, then I'd probably want to embed myself within the community of businesses.
Yeah.
But I didn't live in either area. So I was like, I don't know if I want to participate in this and drive to this area. And is it going to give me new clients? That was the question. Or am I just going to have business connections within that area?
Yeah.
So my answer was no for that for the time being. But yeah, I just don't think that I'm going to find new franchisees or new clients at these events. But I might be completely wrong.
Are you ready to have your perception challenged?
Come on then, hit me with it.
How did we meet?
At NatWest Accelerator Programme.
Is it not a networking group?
Potentially. But I saw that. I think, yes, it's my perception of networking groups. And I know that it's not right. But it's like, if you've got a minimum amount of time, where do you spend it? And I feel like networking is really great for people that have selling services like marketing, design, like anything like that, Envis, doing sales, those sorts of things. I can imagine that would be amazing.
Yeah. I've got two things that I am thinking. One is, yes, it does definitely work better in a B2B environment.
Yeah, business to business.
Yeah, thank you. And There is a huge amount to be said for finding your tribe.
This is it, yeah.
So I have networked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't network a lot at ITV. We built, when I was working in London, because it's bigger, you've got the name behind you, you're building relationships and facilitating those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So it's much more targeted. And I guess you're kind of networking, but it's very, very loose and, no, like minimal structure to it. Whereas when I started Wildbird, I knew that I needed to embed myself in the community. That Chamber of Commerce guy was absolutely right, because I would never have got anywhere. I didn't have a shop. I didn't have anything to shout about. I just had me.
Yep.
And the only way at that point, I also needed to hear what those business owners were saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I see networking at that level, for me, as insight as well, which you can't put a cost on. Yeah, really,
because you needed to work with those business owners.
Yeah, and I also need to like not touch them physically, but I need to feel what that is like, what their struggles are, what their pain points are, because they're my target audience.
Yeah.
So networking is really, really important. But fuck me, I've kissed a lot of frogs. That's what I feel about networking, and by that I mean I have been to the ones where there are women of an age that don't necessarily need to work, that have created a networking group where it doesn't actually achieve much. On the flip side, I've got one that I am still part of that truly speaks to the tribe element. And then I do view NatWest as a network. I do view it as a group because they run... We're alumni now, right?
Yeah.
So if we wanted to activate any of that network, we could. We could go back and we could introduce ourselves. We could do a 60-second pitch, which I know you love.
Don't make me do it.
So, from a marketing perspective, network can be a funnel into your business.
Yeah.
100%. But you have to test and see if it works, and you have to give it enough time to work. And there's structured networking, there's unstructured networking, there's lots of different approaches that you could take. B&I, for example, which is very, very regimented. You have to give referrals in each one, but it works for a lot of businesses.
Don't you find a lot of networking events like just pitching, everyone pitching their wares?
It's very salesy, yeah, can be.
And the thing is, like, this sounds really, I don't know if it's obnoxious or not, but, you know, I'm doing manicures for 40 odd quid. Do I need to spend money to go to a networking event to sell a manicure for 40 quid, or do I need to put 40 quid behind some advertising? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's different to someone doing web development or someone doing design or marketing, where it's big jobs, contracts, things like that. Do I need to go and tell people that my business does nails and waxing?
But you know, it's not a funnel into your business. But then my second question would be, what backup and support do you need in your team that could be aided by networking?
I don't know. I don't think there is. Within my salons, well, I'm their network, aren't I? There's me and my team that are their support network.
Yeah. But then beyond that, so say you needed a website doing, or say you actually wanted to pay for someone's services to fill a gap within franchise or within the group.
Yeah.
If you're part of a network, you may have that there.
Oh, I see.
So you've got this front element of, what's the impact to the salons?
Yeah.
Minimal. But then there's also this ops, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Service to service.
Okay, well, I see networking two different things then. I see networking as in people going, joining a club, selling their souls to each other. Yeah. But I then see community.
Yes.
And actually, I've never put them together before.
Yeah, never the two shall meet. Because you have this community already. You've got this backup. And any point, I think if you're a business owner, you naturally start to build that infrastructure community because you crave it.
And
right?
you're superheroes, right?
Yeah. But you've got that as well. You have teams of people that you've met along the way.
Yeah.
That, for whatever reason, you've connected with. Or
just don't bring them together.
Yeah. But you didn't meet them through networking.
No.
Not networking as you know it.
networking at school gates, like Susie that does our design. I met her through school, and she's actually one of the best graphic designers I've ever known.
Yeah.
And I love that she's a mum and she's doing it at home and she lives down the corner. Like, I love all of that. I'd rather create that. And we've had a discussion before, haven't we, about creating our own community where it's actually business owners that are there to help each other.
Yes.
No, there's no selling, there's no pitching, there's no, this just hold each other up and support one another. And if you need a designer, you put someone forward or say what your problems are, what you need in your business. So
you're right, there are definitely two things at play here. I am part of a community like that already. That is Southwood Social Hub.
Yeah.
Run by Hayley Southwood. And it's really where you do join to be part of the community, you pay, but you are amongst like-minded, creative women, mainly, that show up as their true selves and are open to being vulnerable. And that is where magic happens. Because it's all about meaningful connections and a meaningful community rather than that salesy piece that gives you the ick.
Yeah,
I think it gives you the ick.
It does give me the ick. And also, we're all so time poor.
Yeah, as parents.
And this is, I think this is really key, is that tribe, right? Finding your people.
Yeah.
And what is it you're looking for specifically? If you are looking because you are a new business, you're just starting out, you're finding you want to do some market research, or you need to meet other business owners because of the service you provide. I think networking is incredible for that.
Yeah.
I didn't want that. It's not what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And I've been going it alone for a long time, other than the people that I've found naturally. But what I have been searching, what I've really needed is a franchise community. That's what I really, really needed. Other franchisors that are doing what I'm doing, but better, so that I can learn from. Yeah. And that's another thing, is putting yourself around people you can learn from. Yeah. Because otherwise, anytime I have done networking, I've always been the one given advice.
Yes. It's tiring, isn't it?
It's exhausting, but I'm not getting anything from it, because I'm just giving advice to people, or people are asking questions about, whatever it tax or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So I end up just doing it and being like, the advisor. And that's not what I'm paying for. No. I want to learn, and I need to be the small fish in the big pond.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can soak it all up. I completely hear you. I'm just I don't network now. I'm not really networking now because I'm so time poor. I probably haven't networked.
Do you need to, though? Do you just do it when you need to? Or do you feel like you've kind of built your own community now? I suppose we've got our own now as well, haven't we? We tend to hash things out ourselves.
So, marketeer's hat on, who am I targeting? Probably not at network. They're probably not at networking groups. Because they're time poor too. Mm-hmm. So, is it a good use of my time? Probably not. But, like you say, at the early stages, when you potentially don't have the option of choice, and you're still learning about who your clients are, where to find them, it's like a must.
Yeah.
I think. And getting the most out of it starts with your 60-second pitch. I can you can see her face now. She is not happy.
Does every networking event have like 60-second pitches? Does everyone have to stand and say, hi, my name is so-and-so and this is my business? And
pretty much, yeah, most structured networking groups, yeah. Because all you're asking is for someone to introduce themselves.
Yeah.
But that's an opportunity.
Oh, it just gives me the ick.
I'm going to carry on talking, even though she's not enjoying this conversation.
I don't mind, and I totally understand why people do it. It's just not my jam. It's not. I don't love it. I don't want to do it. I would rather find people that I want to speak to, other business owners that I can bounce ideas off.
Yeah.
And it's the selling. And that's why I said to you, I want to create that community of people that help each other, where there's no, if you use someone's services because they're super talented at what they do, then absolutely, hands down, brilliant. But to actually create a space where business owners can say, do you know what, I'm really struggling with this. I've got this problem and I don't know how to do it. And everyone goes, I'll help you.
Yeah.
that's what I want and what I'm looking for and what I would create myself.
Yeah, I hear you. And I would love to be part of that, because I think that, like I said, that's where the magic happens. But that's because you're showing up as your true self. You're being raw, you're being vulnerable. There's an element of we're all in it together, so let's help and support each other. If you think about other networking groups where it's slightly more corporate, you don't get that vulnerability.
No, but that's why I find it icky. And I think anytime I have done any networking, it has been very formal, very corporate. And I'm like, square peg round hole situation, rock up in a bright pink coat. Oh, look, I don't belong here.
Well, to me, I think, she stands out here. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
So can we just revisit the 60-second pitch? I know that it is uncomfortable. I know that you fucking hate it. But I also know that it's a hugely valuable exercise to do for your business. And that starts with working on your brand values, your USP, your mission, what you stand for, and being able to articulate that. Because I hear you talk about Moos all the time.
Yeah.
I have now spent enough time with you. Thank you so much, Wild Moos, because I've got to know Amy Lewis inside and out, which is fabulous. I'm still learning. But your brand is really clear and you're so confident and comfortable being able to talk about that.
Yeah.
When you start, when you're refining, when you're scaling, when you're pivoting, it's not the same. So working on those brand values and understanding them and really pinpointing what they are and who you're trying to help is such a valuable exercise. I cannot stress enough the time, energy, effort, investment that you spend there will never, ever, ever be lost.
Yeah.
Because it comes quite naturally to you that to know the identity of Moos. It's not a necessary exercise for you, but there are so many brands out there have scaled. And if you were to say, what are your brand values? What's your mission? Who are you targeting? They don't fucking know. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
One of my friends that still works at ITV works with brands that are scaling up to go onto TV advertising.
Which is like millions of pounds of budget spend, isn't it?
Yeah. And they've got to this stage of their business, often owner, founders. And the first question, whenever you're buying any media space, is what's your demographic? Who are you targeting? Because that's how you measure how successful it is. It also dictates where you should spend your money and all that kind of stuff. Who's your target audience? Oh, I don't know. So you're ready to spend millions of pounds on media,
but you don't even know who you're talking to.
No fucking clue who you're talking to. The importance of that work, that graph, that foundation, brand values, USP, who you're targeting, avatars.
Avatar, what do you mean by that? Because that's a marketing terminology, and actually the stuff you're saying is really valuable for people that are starting out.
So an avatar is just a client persona.
Right.
If you think about, let's do it with Moos, the one person that possibly spends the most amount of money in one of your salons, but is the absolute brand ambassador for Moos. Have you got her in your head?
Jessica. Right. Yeah, we've already called it. We do this in management training.
It's so important.
And it's really cool. And like, where does Jessica go? Where does she shop? What sort of clothes does she buy? What supermarket does she go to?
Where does she hang out?
Where does she hang out? Yeah. So Jessica's a mum of two.
Yeah.
Used to work in the city. Has moved out to the suburbs because that's where a lot of our salons are.
Yeah.
Moved out to the suburbs. Probably drives Volvo X5.
Nice.
Partner probably still works in the city or works from home part-time, works in the city part-time. Jessica's probably had like a really cool lifestyle.
Yeah.
And she's a bit edgy, still a bit trendy, busting out the outfit you're busting out today. And she will shop in Sainsbury's and Tesco's, but she'll do a Waitrose now and again for specials.
Oh yeah, a little treat.
Yeah, M&S or Waitrose now and again. She will buy good quality clothing, not necessarily loads of it.
Yeah.
Like Oliver Bonus, that
capsule
sort of stuff.
Wardrobe,
capsule wardrobe. She'll be cool. She'll want her nails done every 2 weeks. She's probably starting up a business or working part-time in the industry she used to be in, or maybe trying to do both.
Yes.
She'll probably go on holiday twice a year.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like rolling in dough, but comfortable. Probably lives in a 3 or 4 bed house.
Yeah.
In a decent area. Kids go to a nice school. Yeah. Not necessarily private school, but that is our client. Yeah. That's our person.
This is your avatar, right?
Right, okay.
Or your client persona. And it's really important. It doesn't matter what stage your business is at. this is a vital exercise to do, probably at least once a year.
Yeah.
Because who you're targeting will change, it will adapt, it will grow. When you're starting, we do this all based on assumption and feel.
Yeah.
When you're scaling, you might have data to look at. You might have a CRM. You could have, well, you'll certainly have more knowledge on who your clients are and who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with.
Yeah, because actually Jessica is probably our franchise client as well.
She is, isn't she? With most of them are quite a lot of them clients turned franchisees.
Yeah, one was a staff member. I actually spoke to a lady yesterday who is a client of ours. I spoke to another lady who's a client of another salon. Yeah, that is, in fact, our client.
I always recommend doing two as well because one person never usually cuts it. So the one that made the brand ambassador, you know her, she's there, you can feel her, you've got her energy, perfect. And then the other one that's very different to Jessica for Moos, that potentially sits somewhere else.
Yeah, semi-retired lady.
Yeah,
she's another one.
So
Julie.
But you look at this regularly, right? As part of your brand.
I think it's one of those things because we're so customer facing. We just know it.
Yeah, but not everyone does. Not everyone has that luxury.
We have thousands of people through our doors every month. Thousands. So we know who our target audience. We know who it is that loves Moos. We speak to them day in, day out.
Whereas if we were to look at Wildbird's target audience, they're all so fucking different. I wouldn't even know.
Similar personalities though? Yes,
there is. For me, it's more about mindset. Because more often than not, you're working with owner-founders and our mindsets, our values have to be aligned in some sort of way. Otherwise, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
Which means they need to believe in marketing. And believe it or not a lot of people actually do believe in marketing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. But you do all of that, don't you, with your clients? You do that whole values and go through that whole process if they need it, right?
Yeah,
from start up.
It's so important. So if you think about... Right, we can sit and flesh out an avatar for both of our businesses that will be based on gut instinct. For you, it'll be based on data, it'll be based on your experience. Fast forward to the likes of Unilever or the likes of ITV or GMTV as it was then. You've got multi-million pounds to invest in research.
God.
So, just to put this into perspective... When we were at GMTV, we were flogging airtime, right? So we're selling the day part 6 to 9.25, and we have to capitalise on that to make as much money as possible. How the fuck do we do that? We can't just tell them it works. So we invested in research. One of the most expensive pieces of research we invested in was a small qual survey, qualitative survey. Well, it's not even a survey; it's a commissioned research piece where we plugged poor souls into an fMRI scanner. An fMRI scanner monitors brainwaves. Have I shared this with you before?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So bearing in mind we're flogging airtime, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
To convince, not convince, that's the wrong word. To facilitate the growth, to facilitate the revenue that we were driving, we invested in research to prove that what we were doing works. So we plugged these people into this fMRI scanner.
And then made them watch adverts?
Yeah, but at different times of the day.
Fascinating.
How
many people did you do it on?
Oh, not a lot. I think 20 in total. We didn't do the research in-house. It was outsourced. I can't remember the name of the company, but I remember playing the video of the scientist the neuroscientist that proved what he did off the back of this. So we went through this, that they all were scanned, showed ads, and it measured the brainwaves, and it proved that you are more likely to remember, like, and understand adverts that you see in the morning than any other times of the day. If you think about it, it makes total sense.
Yeah. In the evening, you're just switching off.
Exactly. You've recouped. You've had a good night's sleep. You're ready for the day ahead.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you've had a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Better than you are in the evening. And your brain's fresh. Your cells have rejuvenated overnight. You're raring and ready to go. But it sets you for the day ahead. So what we were being challenged with at that point, bearing in mind this was linear TV then, you didn't have on demand, it wasn't the same. We would always be competing with appointment to view television, which would be your Corrie, everything in the evening that you absolutely must watch. And you
So
can't
everybody
fast-forward
thinks
through the
that's the
ads.
prime time.
Yeah, which it is. That's where the bulk of your audience is. If you want to capitalise and get mass reach, of course you'd invest there. But imagine if you had both together. Anyway, I'm not trying to sell airtime. That life is way gone. But the point of sharing this story is that research is madness. Can you imagine us now spending money on commissioning a research agency to look into the brainwaves of people that we think might be our target audience in order to enable us to sell the day part? And what the fuck? They've got too much money.
Yeah.
So bring that back to where we are, where we were. If you're setting up, if you're scaling up, if you're starting, you don't have that. You don't have that luxury. So you do it based on assumption and feel. But you must look at it all the time and adjust and adapt and pivot it, because it will change as you grow. It won't always potentially be Jessica, or maybe it is Jessica, that's her name, but she changes slightly for whatever reason. So, and then use the data. Oh my God, use the data that you've got access to. Use Google, use what you can find on Tinterweb, use your CRM, use anything that you've captured along the way to help you define who that target audience is. And then the rest is simple.
Because you're just creating content, talking to that one person. And what would Jessica think? What does Jessica want to see? Yeah, it does make it much easier.
So when you're doing your 60-second pitch, what does Jessica want to hear?
Value. Yeah, exactly. I know. She wants value for money.
Yeah.
She wants an incredible experience, and she wants consistency. She doesn't want to be kept waiting. She wants ease of booking, simple. She's time poor as well.
What does Jessica want as a franchisee?
She wants something that's a creative outlet. She wants somewhere that she can be proud of. She wants somewhere that she can work a little bit in, have an impact on, but also have it as a side hustle against something else.
So what's the one thing that you could say to her to convert her into being a franchisee?
You can have it all.
Let me show you how.
Yeah.
It's so funny, isn't it, when you step into the shoes of your avatar.
But I am that avatar. That's the thing as well.
So it's easy for you to do.
Yeah, it's really easy because I have created a business that I'd want to go to.
Yeah.
I'm in my 40s. And I created it in my 30s, and it's still somewhere I want to go. Yeah. I'm so annoyed that I can't get in my own salons, because I know, hands down, I will get the best service in them. And I'm so frustrated that I still have to do my own fucking nails and waxing.
Well, we are going to open one in Bedford, aren't we?
Oh, God, I really want someone to open one in Bedford.
Maybe I will, you never know.
You or Susie or Martin, which one's going to get there first?
So, back to the 60-second pitch. Once you create that avatar, you've worked on your brand values, your USP, your mission. Now all you've got to do is articulate it. But this is your opportunity to stand out from the crowd. It's your opportunity. Please don't stand up at a networking event and just say, "Oh, Nicole, I run a marketing agency. Thanks. That's what I've got to say. Cheers." You've missed an opportunity. I know it's uncomfortable. I know.
You've always got to have a call to action, haven't you?
Yeah. What do you want? The people don't do that, do they?
No.
60-second pitch.
It's the same as ask the fucking question.
Yeah.
My post-it note. Like, what is it you're there for? And I think that's where I get the ick, because I'm not there for, if I'm at somewhere that I don't think that there's any value to me, I have no problem doing a 60-second pitch if I'm in the right space. So,
I've talked enough about networking. Have you been networking recently?
Yeah. Yes, queen. Again, I don't see this as networking, but it definitely was. So it popped up on LinkedIn, this guy that I follow who does lots of marketing and media for franchise. My problem is I don't have any connections in the franchise space, and I feel very lonely in the franchise world. There's nobody in the beauty industry I can go to, because I'm kind of paving the way for franchise in the beauty industry. And I wish there was more franchisees in the beauty space, because if you go to America, nobody would set up on their own. Canada, nobody would set up a salon on their own. They'd just buy one of their million franchises that are available.
And we are definitely going to do a franchise episode. So
we should do, because it's fascinating. It's fascinating, and I love this world.
And
I love it.
I want to know more about it as well.
Yeah, it will be coming, as in, like, it will be the norm in the UK as well. We just need to catch up. But anyway.
Yeah, but you're going to be the trailblazer. You said that, and all I can see is Amy Lewis on stage talking about franchise. So, yeah, it's happening.
Because it's such an incredible space, and it's seen in the UK as a bit dated, or people just don't understand it. And there's a lot of coaches out there going, franchise is a waste of money, and they don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of businesses that fail. Yeah, it's like a really low margin. People that make it to 5 or 10 years actually make it and earn like a significant wage from their business, not just a normal wage. It's like a really low percentage. But franchising changes that because it's already a proven model. So as long as you're someone that can follow a system and a process, then it's a proven model.
What about the Mavericks?
The Mavericks are the 5%ers that would do brilliantly, but also the Mavericks, they're not very good at being told what to do. So if you're not that person, don't have a franchise because you'll fight it.
Being told what to do
but it's my franchise. So, hello. So anyway, it's very lonely in business anyway, which is why I love this so much, because we hash out everything constantly, which is, I've never felt so not lonely. What's the opposite? Like, I'm so
isolated. You don't realise
I don't feel it. Like the opposite. I felt lonely in business. Okay, what's the other? Content. No, what's the opposite word of lonely?
I don't know. Less lonely.
Less lonely, yes. Okay, whatever that is. But franchise world, I am a very small fish in a very big pond. I don't know enough about it. Anyway, so I went with the pure intention of just building my network. That's all I wanted. Yes, put your hand up, Nicole.
I have put my hand up because I have a theory and I want to test it.
All right.
It could very well be wrong.
Go on then.
I've probably got 20% confidence behind this. How much of putting your feelers out on franchise do you think was sparked by our investment conversation last?
Oh, there's loads. Oh my God, so much has happened since that. We had that whole investment chat, and I was a little bit frazzled after that.
Sorry.
No, don't be. It was good. It was needed. Lots of things to think about, but I was really vulnerable. And then I ended up having a conversation with my brother, and he lives in China, and he's got a very different business model. He has got an incredible business model. He sells online training, coaching about teaching people English speaking people to learn Mandarin.
Yep.
He is fluent in Mandarin. His wife is Chinese. He is fluent reading, writing, and he teaches.
Amazing. Yeah.
And it's a really great business model. He's found his niche, and it's taken him a long time to figure out his ad spend and where he puts it and the terminology he uses. And all of a sudden, like literally in the last few months, it's really pivoted for him.
Yeah.
He's found it and it's working. But he is studying. He's read every business book there is. And I had a conversation. I was like, I'm thinking about investment. It's just a conversation I've just had. I was very vulnerable. And he went in on me.
Yeah.
And he was like, if your business... it was a really tough conversation. And I know he came from a good place. He came from a place of love. I just wasn't ready to hear it. And I don't agree with all of it. And normally, if I don't agree, I'm very comfortable saying, yeah, whatever, I'm not down for them.
So new.
It was also like literally an hour after we finished our podcast, I had this conversation with him, and he just went in and basically felt like he regurgitated every business book at me, which is very corporate America, like tech world. And he was like, if your business can't survive, it's not a viable business. If it can't survive and it needs investment, no one's going to invest in a business, it's not making any money. You need to be looking at your A, B and C players. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like A, B and C players? I've only got 3 of us. There's no A, B and C players. What the fuck are you talking about?
He really bamboozled.
He really kind of went at, and I know that the thing is, once he feels like he's helping, he goes in even further. And normally I would stop and say, look, please. And he was like, well, I don't understand franchising, but I suggest you go in and you just learn about franchise, you do this. And I was like, fuck. And I came away really emotionally drained because I was like, maybe my business isn't viable. Maybe my business is a shambles. Maybe no one's going to invest. Like, what am I talking about? What am I going to do? So I was really raw. Yes.
Sorry, I put my hand up again. 2 things.
Yeah.
I can't remember what day we recorded. Oh, Friday. It was Friday, wasn't it? We
I can't
recorded
remember.
on Friday.
Yeah, maybe.
And I don't think you sent me a voice note about it, probably on Sunday.
Yeah.
Next time you feel like that, pick up the fucking phone.
I will do, yeah.
You...
To be fair, Martin was amazing because he came in and he was like, what's happened? And I told him and he went, you know what, Amy? He said, I really wish you'd stop taking in so much information from other people, because and it was him that said, if you weren't so vulnerable from the opening up like a flower with the front, with the investment, clam. If you weren't so vulnerable from the investment conversation, you wouldn't feel like this. You would have said, nah, this isn't for me. Like, don't shout this stuff to me. Yeah. He said, but because you were so vulnerable, it's raw and it was too much. So please don't overanalyze this. You are on the right path. And I was just really confused. Yeah. So actually this franchise event, it was called a think tank event. Couldn't have come at a better time. It was like 120 quid or something. Yeah. And it was a last minute, do you know what? I'm going to just see what it's all about. It was the first time they'd ever done it. And it was I'll probably get emotional to talk about it, but it was the most powerful thing I've ever been part of. So we turned up and it was ran by absolute experts within the franchise space and people all like learning. Yeah. There was a guy that owns a company called Yab, which is like a coaching company, but it's actually, it's a franchise. And if I wasn't on my path, I would totally buy one of those franchises.
Oh, is it like Action Coach, but better?
Oh, yeah. But it's what we are saying about getting business leaders together and saying, how can I help, is what Yab is all about. And it's a networking group. I know. It's basically what we want to create, but you buy into a franchise and they help you fill it, basically. It's phenomenal. So the guy that owns this networking group was participating and he was like hosting the event. There was three guys.
He's the market. Yeah.
So he's got a coaching business, but he's really cool. Andy's name is. He's really cool. And then there was him. There was Ed, who was the actual host that pulled it. The three of them pulled it together. And there was another guy called Tim, who has got a company that supports franchisees grow. And he's worked for massive organisations, taking their franchise brands internationally and selling their companies and, big players. Yeah. So and then, yes, I'm a very little fish. And there was 4 tables and part of the YAB process, which is bringing people together to fix each other's problems. Yeah. There were 4 tables of 4. The first activity that was hosted by Andy was like, everybody has a problem in their business. You just need to class whether it's a red problem, as in you're going to lose your business. Amber problem, keeping you awake. Yellow problem, just on your mind. Green problem, not really a problem, just something you're working through, And he said, you need to identify if anybody on the table has a red or amber problem. And then, as a group, collectively help them.
Oh, God, I love this so much.
It was all so magical. The lady that was one of our ladies on our table was incredible. They were all just amazing, all franchisors. And one of them had a red problem. She's got a franchisee that's just not communicating. That was a red problem. We helped her work through that. And I'm hoping that it's given her some focus on how she can move forward with it. I have like a amber problem. I classed it as an amber problem. Like, my business isn't going to fail. But there was only allowed to do one problem. That's the only time we had. So then at the end of that, Andy said, we're going to go for a break. But the next activity is I'm calling on someone to be brave. I want one person to be really, really brave and bring their problem to the front of the room and have all 16 people fix their problem for them.
Right. Now,
I know you're excited, aren't you?
So, wait. Hand up. Yeah. Tell me what you felt at that moment in time.
I felt like my problem was bigger than my insecurity.
Yeah.
And it was an opportunity that I just couldn't miss. And he was like, you've got millions of pounds worth of knowledge, people. Think of the salaries and the money that everybody's earning in this room. Put it together. You have this immense amount of knowledge. So one person has got to be really brave, stand up and give us your problem. Then the tables have to work out one question between them. They're only allowed one. And then the tables have to create one piece of advice that they all give to you collectively.
How valuable is that? How long did it take you to decide? I presume that you stood up and put your hand.
Yeah. So he said, if anybody has this, anyone has a problem that they want to come, then tap me on the shoulder. He goes, if not, I've got a problem. So if nobody comes forward, I can share mine. And I tapped him and he was like, oh, hi, you were chatting. I was like, no, I'm tapping you to be the person. But, I'd done that thing. But, if there's somebody that's got a red problem, don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be. And he goes, and he looked at me and he went, nobody else has tapped me. And I don't care if someone's got a red problem. You are in. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
How did you feel?
Shit myself.
Oh, God. All the gain on that, love.
I know. I was like... But again,
but
the problem, I just couldn't miss that opportunity because this was bubbling away. But I knew that I'd either cry, and it was just so beautifully managed. And he just went, this is a safe space, and I just need you all to know whatever is discussed in this room stays in this room. We're all business owners and business leaders, and we're all going to have the same problems or similar problems, and we need to be respectful and kind always. But also, it stays in this room. So, you know, if you want to cry, you can cry. This happens all the time. People cry. It's emotional and it's fine. So I didn't cry. I held it together.
Well done.
I was close a few times. But I said, I'm just on this. I feel like I'm nearly at the top of the mountain. And I've got 3 franchise leads. Like really, one's paid a deposit. 2 are really like close. But I need an operations manager to help me with all of this because I'm doing everything, and I need an ops manager to come in. I need someone to do training with me. I need people to support me, and I don't know whether I look for investment or whether I look for self-funding as I am, because I'm bootstrapping, I'm exhausted, I'm sick of being skint, all these things. And I explained what the business model was. I explained what the franchise model was, what Moos is all about. I think I was given 10 minutes to explain my entire problem. And then afterwards, I kind of looked around and they all just went, well done. Well done.
Know.
Yeah, and you weren't the same. And it was really lovely. And I kind of went out and I was with the host, you know. And one of them gave me a hug and he was like, you should be so proud of yourself.
You fucking should.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. And then I was like, thanks. He goes, how do you feel? I said, I'm really excited to see what people tell me.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how other people, you know, view this, because I'm still like confused about whether I've got a legit business or whether I'm onto something or whether I'm fooling myself. Do I get investment? Is anyone going to be interested? Like, I'm so fucking confused.
Yeah.
And they looked at me and they were like, you are going to get so much from this, just so you know.
Oh, because they've done it.
Because they've done it, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
So then I went back in, they asked me loads of questions. They kept on like, can I have another question, please? Can we have another question? And I was like, yeah. Generally, they let them have a few. I had people telling me, there was one guy who was like, firstly, you should be so proud of yourself because to get a bricks and mortar franchise this far is impossible. And you've done it. And then there was another guy that's got like 120 franchises. And he turned around to me and he goes, you know, we've all been there. And no matter how, you're going to cry, aren't you? No matter how big you are, how many you've got, we all feel it. And it was just so magical. And it was women and men all giving me the most beautiful advice.
I'm so sorry. I didn't.
I've cried every time I've told this. Like, it was just so special to get recognised by people I look up to and I admire, and people I didn't even know I admire until that day. And just to say, well fucking done. Every table said don't get investment.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, every table.
Epic.
They said my management service fee's way too low for what I'm offering. And they were angry that I charged so little. Yeah. They were like, this is not okay. Yeah. This what you're giving. You're not valuing what you're doing. Yeah. There was so much valuable information. There was a guy who was a keynote speaker and he is running this humongous company with 120 franchises and he's the CEO, and it's not his company, but he's running it and he's going to do global, epic human. Yeah. And he said, I'm going to say something and I'm not sure if you're going to like it. He said, firstly, you need to read a book called The E-Myth. Right. And he said, secondly, you are a technical person and you are a brilliant technical person and operator, but you need to learn about business. Right. And when you learn about business, you won't need to stand here. So read The E-Myth. And he said, and what I think you don't need a coach, you need a mentor. Yeah. And you need a mentor with like a success fee or somebody that can take you over that top of that mountain. Which you nearly had, to be fair. Yeah, but he was a coach. Right. It wasn't the right thing. Yeah. And he said coaches will, push you for sales when it's a success fee, or they'll do something and it'll be corporate, whatever. What you need is someone that's been there, walked in your shoes and done it. Yeah. Taken a business that's a franchise to the next level. Yeah. And he said, but you need to work on yourself. You need to work on your business knowledge, not worry about how much money is in the business. Why is this so hard for you? Because I thought I felt seen. I felt like heard, and I felt like everyone just totally understood where I was coming from.
Because they're all franchise owners.
I just felt like I had my people, and
amazing.
I had so many hugs afterwards. I had so much love in that room.
Yeah.
That was just like holding me up, going, you are onto something so special.
Yes, you are.
And it's going to be amazing, and I'm really here for it. It's just so magical. And this guy, and I was like, he goes, you need a mentor that is like someone that can take you, but isn't doing it for their own validation, is doing it because they care.
Yeah.
And has like a success fee.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus Christ, where do I find one of them?
Yeah.
And he put his hand up, and then another woman put her hand up, and I was like, oh my God, really?
They'll be the ones.
Yeah, and they were then offering to help me.
Okay.
I know, right? And then this other guy...
I thought you said the episode was not going to be emotional.
I know.
Oh, we'll do networking because we won't cry.
And then he said, this other guy, he's got loads of franchises, and he turned around and he was like, you are so close to the edge of greatness. You are so close to it. And he said, and once you've got 3 more franchises and they're the right people, please don't just say yes to anyone. Please make sure they're right.
He said,
now, you're going to be up here next year giving advice to other people. You're not going to feel the way you do now. So stick with it. You don't need external influence. You don't need external money. Stick with it. It's going to be really tough for the next year, but do just stick with it. And I was like, okay. And then there was a guy that said, you know what? I've sold companies for millions of pounds, and I've been where you are so many times, and it is normal. And it doesn't matter how much money is in a company, we all still get there because there's no cash flow. It doesn't matter how many millions you got, you still got a problem with cash flow. It's always the way. Whatever you're doing, you're going to feel a little bit like this. And I was like, okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
I need to like that now.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, they all gave me advice. And then afterwards, I just had hugs from people going, well done. I had so many beautiful messages on LinkedIn. Beautiful. And then before I'd even got home, and I wasn't even going to go. It was one of those, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can be bothered. I don't know, but I'm just going to go, drive to Birmingham. Like, you know, before I'd even got home, I had a message from one of the hosts that said, I've had an idea and it doesn't require investment. Let me know when you get back and let's have a chat. And I phoned, we spoke on Friday, and he went, I want to be that mentor for you. I want to see you get there. And we'll talk about figures another time, but have a think about it over the weekend. Get in touch. Let's have a chat. He said, because it's not actually, there's no point in pushing you for sales, because you need to get your systems and processes so absolutely slick that when your business escalates and scales, which it will,
yes,
you are fully ready.
Yeah.
And you are so much operating and involved in every nitty gritty. We need to get you out of that, working on your systems and processes so that you can grow.
Yeah.
Because at the minute it's so overwhelming because you're doing it all.
Yes.
So we need to work on all of that. And then the sales will come. I know, right? So I haven't got back to him yet, but I'm going to, because he's a really lovely guy. He said to me, he said, you made one comment, which I feel like should be your strapline. He said, you said one thing at the end, which is every market town needs a Moos. And I can't get it out of my head, because when you say that, I know who your audience is. Yeah. I know your demographics that you're looking for. I know everything about your business, because you said every market town needs a Moos. And he goes, and I can see it happening. And I want to be there to help you do it. So there we go.
I can't. I feel like I've been on an emotional...
I know, right?
Right, would you like some reflection?
Yes, hit me.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm really proud of me as well. And I had to just be so brave. And bravery does pay off, like putting yourself out there, asking the question. Yeah. And also there was one comment that said, because of your openness, vulnerability and rawness, you were the one that made that event as special as it was.
Yeah. Because
everybody then got like a green card to say, you know, just be yourself.
Yeah. Just
do it. Just let's make this space really like...
Vulnerability is so powerful for so many different reasons. Yeah, I am unbelievably proud of you. Unbelievably. Sorry, probably far too quiet and far too far away from the mic. So it has confirmed that I don't want investment. This is good.
Yeah.
Because you weren't sure.
Yeah, I was going to explore.
Yeah, it was about research,
yeah,
wasn't it?
and there was an element that my brother was right on some of it. He just, delivery was off.
Yeah. Timing.
And actually, just starting to read the E-Myth, it is about entrepreneurs. It's fascinating.
So the thing that I'm probably struggling to say the most is, you are such an inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
No, genuinely. I probably say it too much. No, I don't think you can actually say something like that too much. But your ability and your passion to not play small and to always push yourself makes me want to do the same. Which means if you're inspiring me, you're inspiring others that are listening, people that we speak to, people that you talk to, people within Moos, people within your business, people that you potentially network with. You are so, so special. The other thing is, I am so pleased that you are now perhaps starting to see and feel the success that you've had.
Yeah.
And actually appreciate the graft, the sacrifices, and the impact that this mountain climb has been worth it.
And there's been an element, I feel like that mountain climb, I've done 3/4 on my own.
Yeah.
And now I've got some help.
Yeah.
Carrying my bags and pushing me up a little bit. That's what it feels like.
But to have, like, hearing someone else who is a franchise owner say, you've got this far with bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
You have defied
after
all
a
the
pandemic.
odds.
I opened 2 within a year of the pandemic. One of them I opened mid-pandemic, actually.
But you have defied all the odds.
Yeah, I have.
You can say it, but to actually
feel it.
Yeah.
I needed that validation from a community that knew more than I did.
Yeah.
And that knew about franchising, because franchising is such an unknown territory for so many. It is this little part of the business world that it's so niche.
Yeah. But and then on top of that, to tangibly say, you are not charging enough.
Yeah, God, they all went in. They all said, we need to give 2 pieces of advice, our actual piece of advice, and you're not charging enough. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
So,
and then there was people giving me advice about what to look into in my contracts and how to change things, and just like, and all of them are like, we're going to do this. Everybody loved it, and they want to do it every quarter. So we create our own community that we just get together and help each other out.
Oh, the ones in the room?
Yeah.
Off your own back?
No, it's all going to be hosted by the same people. But we're actually going to just pay. Yeah, but like once they've done a survey afterwards to create something, because the franchise world is a bit stiffy, you know?
Yeah.
In the UK, not anywhere else.
Bank
just in
manager.
Yeah, very much so. Sea of suits.
So,
this little collective group are going to change it. I can feel it. We're going to do great things.
What happened when you woke up on Saturday morning? How did you feel?
Exhausted. But something else come of this as well. I know, right?
One more bit. Yeah.
One more bit. Isn't it random? Like motherfucking universe and all that. The person I sat next to had just completed the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses programme.
Wow.
Yeah. He's got 12 franchises, I think.
Yeah.
He was so kind. He was so kind. And they played this video, which was the most epic video about humans. And it was a Danish advert about don't put people in a box.
Yeah.
And it was, have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh my God, I'll send it to you. And it was so moving. We were all bawling. Yeah. All bawling, because it was about, don't put people in a box. So is it like all the nurses, all the housewives, all the people with loads of money, all the people with no money, the young people and old people? And then it was like, who is it that's had sex in the last week? And then you all get together, and all these people from different boxes. Who's lucky enough to be in love? Yeah. Who's lonely? Yeah. And all these people from each box comes together and then say, we're all basically the same. Yeah. You know, it doesn't matter what box you're put in. It was so moving. Yeah. And then there's who's bisexual, and there was one person that stood up, and then everybody clapped, and it was all like, oh my God, it was so moving. So everybody in the room was bawling at this video. Yeah. And he was like making sure I was okay, because I was really emotional because of this whole thing that had happened. And he was just like, are you okay? You know, he's just so kind. Anyway, he said to me, I have just completed this programme, and it's done at Oxford University, and he said it's a really tough programme to get into, but I'm an alumni and I really want to put you forward. And I was like, what? And what? You want to put me for? And he goes, you need this. I have changed everything about my business since doing this. It's the most amazing thing I've ever done. You need this, and I really want to help you get it.
So you're doing that too?
Yeah, I'm going to apply, yeah.
And you're going to get through?
I think
because
so.
Because you've got alumni on your side?
Yeah.
This is epic.
Just from one decision for 120 quid, and I was still umming about whether I'd even bother. And then the person I sat next to might actually give me access to something that might be the most incredible thing I've done in my business. I don't fucking know. But if I don't try it, I don't know, do I?
Value of not even just the advice, the process, being surrounded by other people that have been in your position, are so close to what you're trying to build, and it's taken you all this time to find them, and all of a sudden you've got multiples of them in one room.
And to get through to Goldman Sachs, you have to have a turnover of 250 grand. You have to have at least 5 employees, things like that.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to be with other people at the same.
Playing big.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just the right time, right place. And, you know, all of that conversation I had the week before was just the lead up to this. And I needed those conversations for me to be as vulnerable as I was, for me to be as open and honest and like, can anyone help me? So, yeah, it was like a 10-minute pitch, not a 60-second pitch, but with so much emotion and so much heartache and stress. And this is what I'm really feeling. And I'm going to tell a room of 19 strangers what the fuck is going on in my business. And I'm going to talk about money, which no one talks about. I'm going to talk about all of it. And then hopefully you guys can help me.
And they have.
And they really have all come together. And then I've got to go back in 4 weeks, not to them, but they've put a meeting in my diary in 4 weeks to be accountable of what I'm actually doing about it from their advice.
Fucking hell.
And then I'm having a meeting with the hosts, and then they're going to pass it on to the people that were there about what I've done in 4 weeks.
How powerful.
I know, so I better fucking read that book, and I stop watching Real Housewives and read the E-Myth.
Are we putting the E-Myth in the show notes?
It is. I can see why he's recommended it. It's an oldie but a goodie. And it's about, I've only read the first couple of chapters so far, but it's about the entrepreneur's mindset, and that most entrepreneurs are great technical people, as in they're really good trades, really good beauty therapists, operations, whatever it may be. And because you're so good at it, you then go into business. Yeah. And most of those businesses fail because you're a great operator, but not a great business owner.
Jesus.
And then it's the mindset shift of going from technical person to manager to CEO.
What is fascinating about that is it's probably the definition of winging it.
Yeah. And that's it. I am a great operator and I am fully in operations mode, but I can't do it. I can't continue and grow my business. Yeah. But it's also where I'm comfortable, so then it's completely out of my comfort zone.
Well, yes, it's like doing those things on the to-do list that are
fannying around. Yeah.
Tick, 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 tick.
Precisely. Progress. Yeah. So it's exhausting, but it's so exciting at the same time. And I hope that I am there next year and giving other franchisors advice. Yeah. And paying it forward and supporting other people that feel the same as I do.
You will. Yeah, I will do. No doubt about that. Absolutely no doubt. You'd be there tomorrow if you could help someone else.
Yeah, I would do. I'd always help if I can. Every single person in that room, no matter how successful they were, wanted to help for nothing. No money, no nothing. Just wanted to impart a little bit of wisdom. It changed my perception on everything.
It's the power of the minute that you're vulnerable with someone and you really let your fucking guard down. And you're so exposed. The majority of people that are in that environment with you, especially if they've been in your shoes, will just drop everything and go, what the fuck can I do to help you? Yeah. Here, take this. This is what I like. You would. You would, because that's human nature. That's why there's such power in it. Oh, kindness. I've really been thinking a lot about kindness recently, and you mentioned it a lot about some of the people in that room. I think we are actually very kind. Very kind people.
I just hate unkindness. I find it really ugly.
Yeah, and I feel like being a parent actually teaches you more about kindness than you probably knew before, because since they're so little, kind, gentle hands. Yeah. Kind. Why aren't you being kind? That's very unkind. Yeah. It's the language that you use, which means it's prevalent in my head more so than it would usually be. But how often does kindness breed vulnerability? Also, that magic, that connection, that power. And people don't.
Yeah, true. And also, you don't normally associate business and kindness together, do you?
No. Well, if you were to draw it, again, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I just felt like magic fairy dust. I was meant to be there, meant to meet those people, meant to be the person that stood up. All of this was just opened up for me to go in, do your thing, be you.
Yeah.
And then let the world open up a little bit more for you. That's what it felt like. I drove home thinking, what the fuck just happened? But it was incredible, all of it. So I didn't see that as networking, but it was, because there was some networking in it. But I found that like networking completely different, and that's what I want to be involved in. That's the stuff that excites me.
Connection and community.
Well, which are my core values in my life and my business.
Yeah.
So watch this space.
I'm excited.
I know.
So excited. Epic.
Yeah.
Do we want to do a high and low of the week, or is this, I think...
Oh, that was definitely a high for me. I don't feel like I need any other highs.
Yeah.
Are you on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Am I ethically? Yeah. Am I ethically trading? Like franchise, there's a lot of sharks in the franchise space. There's a lot of people selling shit. A lot of people selling stuff that isn't worth anything, and that's where the bad reputation comes from. But there's some incredible franchises where you can make a lot of money or a comfortable salary very easily and still work for yourself. And I felt like every single person in that room had good intentions, had good business models, had really good ethics and morals.
Yeah. So your values are aligned.
Yeah, all of our values aligned completely. Yeah, for sure.
Wowzers.
Give me a high or low for you.
Oh, it pales into insignificance here, darling.
No, it doesn't. Come on.
So, a high is getting up on my feet last week, presenting to a group of 15 about marketing.
Mm-hmm. This is the first time you've done it, but you're going to be doing it every month going forward, right?
Once a month going forward. Why is it a high? It is a high because it's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a high because I've never met these people before. I've got no idea whether they're going to think I'm shit. I obviously go into most things thinking the worst.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, not thinking the worst is going to happen, but preparing myself for what could be the worst. So I'm never surprised if it does happen. And also what could be the best, what do I want it to feel like? And it was really fucking good.
Yay!
I didn't expect to have... And it was really hard to read the room. So it's probably an hour and a half of me on my feet talking about methodology, talking about brand values, talking about avatars, explaining what I have done up until this point, my career, my development, why that allows me to stand in front of you and why you should listen to what I've got to say. So as an exercise, it's actually quite good.
It would have been so valuable to the people that are in their businesses now, though, wouldn't it? The people that are in there.
Yeah, but they're really hard to read. So you're dealing with... This is a group of tradespeople that...
Like brickies, builders, carpenters.
Yeah. That are now going into property development or are in property development. Yeah. So really like levelling up, scaling up, wanting a different life. Really at that wonderful stage where they're in the...
They don't want to be hands-on anymore. They want
off the tools, So I'm always trying to like read the room. Whenever I've been presenting, I want as many people along with me as I can possibly get, and we'll overstretch myself to ensure that happens. So there was a lot of like group thinking, there was a lot of kicking stuff around the room, there was a lot of, is everyone happy, are we okay, a lot of checking ins, and there were, I'd say I probably had 90% of the room there. I hope I presented it in such a way where we bridged any communication barriers or it actually made sense. So I talked about who I am, what I do. We talked about what marketing is, because this is the first one, so we kicked it off with the definition. Then we talked about touch points and why they're so important and what a touch point is and how many of them there are before you make a purchase decision, whether that be a service or a product, and then each one of those represents an opportunity. But touch points could be anything from you stood here today to someone that you've worked with saying that you're a bit shit. And then telling everyone else you're shit. That's a touch point.
Yeah.
So it's not just you, your business, it's the people that work in the business,
your
it's
reputation,
your suppliers, it's your reputation, the whole lot. And then we talked about customer experiences and the best and worst customer experiences they've ever had. And I made them all.
I love that exercise.
Oh, I made them go around the room because we are really like hammering home the point of the very, very best. Like it made you feel amazing, and then the very fucking worst. And we started with the worst, and then everyone's getting like passionate about their story, and we had loads of different things from like Wizz Air to horrific treatment at an airport to a drone company that replaced their drone that they lost at sea, but the impact. And every time I asked, how did it make you feel? How did that make you feel? Because what we get to at the end is whether you experience something incredible or something horrific, anything that ignites an emotional connection is massive, and it's actually gold dust for a brand, hence why John Lewis spends so much money on their Christmas ads every year. Now, how do we bring that back to what we're talking about at this level? Let's look at the methodology behind that, which is where we talked about brand values and the piece there. Anyway, it was good, it was valuable, but you still just don't know.
But that sort of session would be valuable to any business owner.
I hope so.
God, that would be, because I do similar thing in management training, but it's so important. Where do people go for that?
I don't know. Like for the foundation, I've got no clue.
Maybe you need to create it for other business owners.
Well, this is on the BHAGs for this year, isn't it? To do some sort of course. So at the end, so this is the litmus test. At the end, my last slide was, guys, you're stuck with me now once a month. I'm going to be here whether you like it or not. I hope you've enjoyed that, but this is about how I can help you and your businesses provide the most amount of value with the time that we have together. What do you want to hear about? We have got a clean slate. What can I give you that's going to help your businesses? Please tell me. I thought that I'd probably get 2-3 things. I think we've got about 7.
Wow. What is it? Can you share what they want? What people wanted?
Yes, they want to do the brand values exercise.
Amazing.
They want help with their 60-second pitch. They want to understand more about networking. They want to understand about... Someone asked about colour theory for brands when you're doing like your rebranding or anything like that. What else was on there? Target audience. Going through the avatars.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then, so, someone that my business partner actually on the candle stuff always says it's all in the follow-up. So what did I do afterwards? As soon as I got home, connected with them all on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for being part of today. Thank you for your feedback. Really great to connect. All with an individual message. And they all accepted, all said thank you. And now I will see them all again next month.
But you're helping as well, aren't you? I think which you get so much from.
Yeah.
So not only are you part of something, you're kind of testing a program to some degree, because this is everything that a business owner needs, new business owner, that you could create to many and give and deliver to many.
But all I care... So one of the questions that I asked when we talked about what's the definition of marketing, I said, am I marketing here to you today? What do you think? Is this marketing? And someone went, yeah, of course it is, because you want us to buy fucking services. You are correct. I'd love for you to do that, but also I love we talked a lot about values, and one of my values is making a difference to others. And I don't care whether I get fucking paid for that or not. I care that I'm actually making a difference. So yes, you're right. This is a test bed, a theory. This is me trying to refine how I can actually make a difference, and it's breaking down my process as well, which is brilliant. So much fun.
What a session.
Yeah.
Well done. That sounds awesome.
Thank you.
And what a great experience for those people that are in the room, because they would not normally access that sort of knowledge when starting up a business in that sort of industry.
No, and I'm having it's sparking a lot of creative energy off the back of it. So I'm having a conversation later this week with another peer who runs a marketing agency as well, and we're going to kick around what we could do online training. Well, Yeah.
Yay! What a week!
Yeah, this week.
What a great way to finish our podcast.
Okay.
And I don't know what we're going to be talking about next time.
I don't know. We might ask. Should we ask on social?
Yes, we should. Let us know. Drop us a DM. Tell us what you want to chat about.
Thanks.
See ya.
Thanks for listening.
Don't forget to give us a cheeky follow. wild_moos.
And if you've got anything that you want to hear from us, or if you've got any questions, please just ping us a DM. We'd love to hear from you.
And please subscribe.
Bye.